Well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being on here. This is Jessica Higdon, and I am super duper excited for this webinar with you guys. I know a lot of you on here may not know much about me. I know you had a webinar with my husband, so he's totally awesome, but get ready for the real pièce de résistance, as the French say. I hope I said that right. If you're from France, I hope I said that right. No, Ray's awesome, and I'm just gonna do another social media webinar training for you guys because I bring a little different perspective and different value to the table. And it's so exciting to be doing this for Manatech specifically. I love your guys' company, love your products. You're totally awesome. I know some of your top leaders and they're absolutely amazing. So this is a different audience for me, so really excited and just here to bring you guys some value. Now I know that you have a call coming up here in about 30 minutes, so I'm going to keep this brief, but I'm going to make sure you guys have some solid tips that you can use for moving forward after this webinar for social media prospecting as well as marketing. And let's see, I think your company call is at around 8:30 Eastern. So we'll wrap it up here in about 20-25 minutes. So I'll give you some time to get a cold glass of water and do what you got to do. So this training, let me just dive right in here. This training is called Getting Prospects to Ask You About Your Business Using Social Media. And this is really kind of the first piece of the puzzle when it comes to really dominating your social media prospecting and marketing, as I mentioned. So what we're going to cover in here are 3 tips to create an attractive, credible profile, 5 different types of status updates that will get you more leads, but not just more leads, more qualified leads. How many of you have gotten leads before, but then you go to close them or you go to talk to them and you're just frustrated because they don't respond or they're not going to pay attention to your video? Raise your hand if that's ever been you. Yes, many of you. Okay, that's been a lot of us for sure. It happened to me constantly. So I had to find a different type of way to get qualified leads, not just willy-nilly leads that are out there, just looking for some freebies, right? We want to talk to really good people. And then what not to do, how to attract people to you versus repel quality prospects. Now, I think Ray covered a little bit about this section, but I'm going to give you some other tips that I think will be really, really helpful. Sound good? Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's dive into who I am because a lot of you may not know. Maybe after Ray's webinar you did some research on us, or maybe you didn't. Either way, I want to share with you a little bit about me because you may be thinking, well, why in the world should I listen to this girl? What has she done and how can she help me? Well, first of all, when I first started network marketing, I was 21 years old and I literally had 0 head start. And what I mean by that is I had nothing going for me. I mean, not to put myself down, but I had 0 confidence. I had no business experience. I didn't know anybody that had a lot of money, besides my dad, but he certainly wasn't going to join my company. I didn't really have any idea how to build a business, let alone a network marketing business, which already, unfortunately, has a stigma to it. And so I needed to find another platform that would really help me generate more leads, but also create a team. And that's where I feel that our social media training differs a little bit from a lot of trainings out there. Is there are a lot of people that talk about training on social media. However, a lot of them haven't built a sustainable team. And if you're going to build a team, you need to know a simple step-by-step way to teach your team to reach out to people, and a step-by-step way for you to start creating some income fast. A lot of marketers, they don't understand that, right? So I wanted to find that simple step-by-step way. And long story short, I turned to social media because my warm market, there's no way in heck they would do anything for me. No way. Like I said, I had no confidence. So I needed to create a persona of credibility and someone of authority online. Now, that's not to say you have a lack of integrity, and I'll share with you more details on that later. But you can come on social media and be whoever you want to be. Personality-wise, you can be confident, you can be excited, you can be outrageously pumped about your product, and nobody is going to judge you. And if they are, guess what? You don't even know because you can't see what they're saying about you. And that's what I love about social media. So I created my first $10,000 a month recruiting on social media, and then I went on to become the top female income earner. 95% of that was through Facebook. So it was a really exciting time for me, and if I can do it, I'm telling you guys, you absolutely can too. So now my husband and I, we train people in all different companies and teams all over the world how to use social media to build a huge team. So I'm very, very excited to bring that knowledge to you guys and get this going. So before I get into the meat and bones of the training, this training today is step one to creating a huge social media business, which is positioning. It's part of step one. You know, as you are reaching out to people, as you are prospecting and recruiting, people are going to look at your stuff, they're going to look at who you are, and they're going to judge based on, you know, how you present yourself, whether or not they want to reach back out to you, or whether or not they want to join you and your team. So positioning is very, very important, and we're going to cover some great tips for that today. But coming up, we are actually having a Mannatech specific event. It's a social media event. It's our very first social mobile global boot camp. So Ray and I are very excited about that. It's July 30th through 31st in Dallas, Fort Worth. And to learn more about that, you can go to events.mannatech.com and make sure that you pick up your tickets quickly, because they are selling very fast, okay, and this event could sell out, so I want to make sure that you get the opportunity there. At this event, as I mentioned, you know, we're going to cover step one. I'm going to be covering how to go above and beyond just positioning, which means really in-depth prospecting, in-depth recruiting, in-depth training on how to duplicate those efforts that you're doing as well, and how to really create a great, some great momentum on social media using faith and some other social media sites. So that's going to be an amazing training. Make sure to check that out, and we're really, really excited about it. Okay. So here are some tips for having a credible profile. This is a profile people want to join. That means, like I said, is they're going to look at who you are. And just by doing these things, you will get some leads. And what do I mean by a lead? A lead is someone, it's not just someone who comes through a funnel, it's someone who likes your post, comments on your post, reaches out to you via the messenger, maybe shoots you a text that they know you personally, or you know, it is somebody who comes through a funnel, someone who visits your website. That's definitely a lead too. But a lead is anyone who raises their hand and shows some type of interest in what you're doing. Just by changing some things, if you haven't done this already, you can create some instant leads that you can reach out and talk to. So number one may seem very obvious to you, and maybe you've heard this before, but I train this over and over and over again, and I still see people have non-professional pictures. This is so, so important. Now, I'm not telling you have to go out and spend $3,000 on a professional photo shoot, but what I am telling you is when it comes to the difference between someone who has a grainy profile photo and grainy everything all over their banner versus someone who looks professional, has some lifestyle pictures, is very high definition, maybe has a little slogan or something and it says something about them, they're going to choose the person that looks professional every single time to work with. And because there's so much competition on social media, it is very important for you to take the little tweaks very, very seriously. Okay, so make sure to have some type of professional picture that looks nice. You can even do that on your iPhone. iPhone takes amazing pictures. If you have an Android, I'm sure they do too. I wouldn't know, but I'm sure they take amazing pictures also. So you don't have to spend a ton of money, but attention to detail, especially when we have such an ADD society that's all they're looking at is images, is super important. You want to tell your story in your About section. So I see a lot of people that have in their information or in their About section, it's that little slogan at the bottom left there. They just tell people what their website does or what their product is or what their company is. That's a big no-no. Who are you? What do you help people do, and what kinds of people? People want to know what's in it for them. So if you can just answer those 3 questions without sounding spammy or anything, and maybe at the end of your longer About section, you have a call to action, you know, either that's a website or a way for them to get a hold of you, email me. Even a great call to action you can even use that most people don't, but will absolutely work, is saying something along the lines of, hey, by the way, I checked each and every message personally. Feel free to reach out to me and tell me a little bit about yourself or what you're struggling with, right? And you can do that not just in your About section, but in your status updates, in your content that you post, in anything that you do. Just adding that little tweak to the end can really make a big difference and have people coming to you, which is super awesome. And then you just take them through the process of recruiting them and bringing them to the close. And if they're not ready at that point, maybe later on they will be, but at least you established the connection. Okay, and by the way, I will be sharing at the event how to bring someone to the close and some cool questions that you can use. Number 3 is very simple. Again, post value. And I'm sure Ray harped on this in his last presentation for you guys, but value is just answering a question of your audience. So the person that you want to attract, what questions do they have? And can you provide some tips, some training, some inspiration that can help them do that? And that doesn't mean that you have to go out there and be a video expert tomorrow. It could be that you share some other people's stuff that you found. I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time, but it could be that. It could be that you post just a longer status update that tells people some tips. It doesn't have to be, you know, exactly what you think, although videos are super awesome and they do attract a lot of people. So if you want to just start doing them, I highly, highly recommend it. So here are some options for you when posting value. Okay, here are some types of status updates that you can do to get leads. This will definitely help you. You can go out there and do this as soon as we finish this webinar. So number 1, like I mentioned, value, solve a problem to a common question. So here's a good line to use if you're stuck on kind of how to solve that problem or how to post. If you just use the phrase, a little known way to blank, a little known way to get 10 leads a day on social media, a little known way to lose 10 pounds this summer, a little known way to shampoo your hair without harsh chemicals. You know, I know Manatech has a bunch of great products like that, so those are options that you can use, but don't make them spammy. Remember, this is value-based, so don't have your link in there. If you want to post tips and say, hey, by the way, this product is cool, then that's fine, but you want to do that sparse and in between, you know, all your other value content. But people love that phrase, so that's something that you can definitely use. Number 2, recognition. This is a great curiosity creator. Recognition and story, I'll just go ahead and bring up number 3, they really go hand in hand. You do not need to mention the company here, but what you can do is tie in the story and what your company does for someone. So if you have, and it doesn't even have to be on your team, it can be somebody in another team. It could be somebody, you know, in the company that you just want to celebrate, or one of your friends in the company, or maybe your upline. Recognition is so huge when it comes to generating leads. Why? Because it's real and people can relate. So what you would do to tie these together is share a story of someone that, you know, just hit a new rank or just earned their car, or just maybe they just were able to pay their mortgage this month and they would have lost their house. Whatever that person is comfortable with you sharing, you can say that. So if I have a single mom in my organization and she just ranked up and she got her car, let's say she earned her new car, I might say something along the lines of, hey, super excited for Juliet. I don't know, just a name off the top of my head. Super excited for Juliet. She is a single mom. She's been working the past 20 years as a school teacher, and she's been working, you know, 80 hours a week. I shared with her something that I thought might help to allow her to work from home. And now she's full-time from home. She just earned her brand new car and she's loving life. And a picture of Juliet, you know, just jumping in the air with her car or whatever, some type of cool image. If you want more information about how Juliet did it, feel free to contact me. If not, that's cool too, but please celebrate her success. Just a really cool teaser that you can add at the end. Okay, so you can say at the end, if not, that's cool too, but please help me celebrate her success. So it seems like, okay, hey, I actually genuinely want to celebrate this person. This isn't just a teaser to get more leads, even though it partially is, right? But you are celebrating the person. So that's kind of how you tie stories in. You can do a story for anything, but remember to post with purpose. That means you have some type of call to action at the end, and everything that you're talking about has some type of message that you want your end person, that you want your target market to receive. Engagement. At the event, I'll actually be giving 5 exact posts that you can use to instantly create more engagement, which they're super simple, and just using like the guideline I gave you for value, just using those 5, you will have content for days and days. You can just rotate them as much as you want. But engagement is just really, it's a post that gets more people to see your stuff. Okay, so if you post engaging posts, you will get more leads and in turn more sales. And a lot of these that I already shared with you will get a lot of engagement as well. So keep that in mind. Call to action. Now, a call to action is direct to the point, and this must be done right. A call to action post, you want to make sure to use it sparingly. So this is not, and by the way, this is not a post that says, okay, hey, join my team here. You still give the benefit, you still give some curiosity, but after you've built a following and you've done all the other 4 for a little bit, that's when a call to action post really becomes valuable, and that's where you'll see some traction. Okay, so a call to action post looks something like along the lines of, hey, you know, I don't usually share this, but I'm super excited about how my shake actually helped me have more energy today. If you want more information about that, feel free to contact me here, and if not, that's okay too, but I just wanted to share my excitement. Okay, so that's and I would definitely include an image with the call to action post because you'll get more engagement. That is something, again, you'll use about 10% of the time. You're not going to use that a whole lot, but they can be very effective, and you should use them once you've built up a following. So real briefly, here's what not to do. And I know that Ray covered some of this, but I just want to reiterate because I still see it quite often. And it's unfortunate, but you know what? It's an easy fix. Don't spam people with your company all over your page. Some leaders, they do teach this. And if you see a leader that has a lot of stuff from the company, and you see that they have, you know, a lot of engagement, a lot of shares and likes and comments, most of the time, those are not prospects. Those are people from the company. Okay, so it's important to, you know, distinguish that, hey, they've worked really hard to get where they're at. They've done all the things that, you know, they've taught you to do and we're teaching you to do to get there, and that engagement has been earned in other ways, not from posting all their company stuff all over their page. So I think that's where the confusion comes in, is a lot of people think that, oh, you know what, my leader is posting about his or her a product every day and 5 times a day, then I can do that and I'll be successful. Well, no, it's not the same thing. Spam people with a link or the same message. Now, I think, most of you on this webinar know that you're not just going to go out and send links to people without making a connection first and seeing if there's interest there. Or at least, I hope not, but now you do. This is the same message, though. That's something I see a lot. That's why I underlined it and asterisked it, because I see that all the time. Your message to someone has to be personal. You have to tell them when you're reaching out to someone, whether it's someone who's commented on one of your stuff or you're randomly reaching out to a person, the number one thing you can do is make why you're messaging them so crystal clear and so authentic that they feel really, really special and they'll respond back. There's too many people that just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, or they don't copy, paste, but they say something like, oh, you know what, you look really sharp. You look really intelligent. You look exciting and fun. Well, that's great. Okay, that's very nice of you. But why? Why did you specifically reach out to that person? Why do you think they look sharp? Hey, I noticed that you have several friends that are in real estate and you have quite a big network. I checked out your profile. You dress really nicely, and you're somebody that I thought I should connect with. That's being specific. Hey, I noticed that you play tennis on the weekends. I was just curious if you get to play during the week. It's one of my favorite sports. I definitely want to connect with you. That's being specific. Okay, it's not saying, wow, you look fun, or you look energetic, or you look sharp. You can, like I said, you can say that, but get to the nitty-gritty about why you're messaging them. Another quick tip before we move on is not only the same message, but tell them that you don't message everyone, because you don't. You want to make them feel special. I would write that down. Tell them in your message that you do not message everyone, but you reached out to them specifically because of X, Y, and Z. Put a grainy pic on your profile. We covered that. Tag people that aren't in your photos. Oh my God, I hate that. Fill your wall with shares. This is something you may have not heard before. Okay, it's good to share to a degree. It's good to share content and things that are positive, but it's not good to share all of the time. People want to see stuff from you. They want to get an idea of who you are. So have you ever gone this, you've done it before. Just think about this. Have you ever gone to someone's profile after they've contacted you or you saw a status or whatever and looked, and there's like all kinds of YouTube videos and stuff that they've shared that are totally random? It's like it fills up their entire wall. Well, some of those videos may be funny, you may play around for a bit, but you click away pretty soon because you're thinking, well, I didn't really learn much about this person. There's not much for me here. They're just sharing other people's stuff, and it's totally random to boot. So just make sure that you do some of your own stuff, your own posts. Again, sharing, a great video tip or something, that's fantastic. Or an article or blog, do that. Just don't fill up your wall with shares. Or be negative. If you want to be vulnerable, that's different than being negative. Being vulnerable is totally okay. Being negative is not. So for example, my mom is currently in ICU. She's okay. She's stable. They're getting her where she needs to be. But I shared that on my Facebook, one, because I wanted some advice from people who may have connections in the medical field, and two, because I just I wanted people to show her love and support on her page. So I didn't say, hey, my mom's in ICU. She might not make it, and go through all these negative things. I took the positive out of it, and I message of, hey, she's a great lady, reach out to her, tell her you're thinking of her, all of her thoughts and prayers, I know how strong she is, will bring her up. So that's the difference between being vulnerable and being negative. Make sure that you distinguish the two and that your team members can distinguish the two. So I hope this has helped you guys. I know it was a super quick training. But you do have your company call coming up, which is going to be totally awesome. And again, we are so excited to meet you at this first Manatech social media boot camp that we'll be hosting at the end of this month. We'll be flying out to Dallas. Baby Sabrina will be there as well. That's my new 9-month-old. So we're really excited to have her. You'll get to meet her. And again, tickets are selling really fast, so I want to make sure you guys know to go to that website and check it out. And we'll see you at the event, guys. Have a fantastic night. Have a great call, and we will see you soon.